Forget Hollywood-style dogfights. In modern warfare, the winner is not the most skilled pilot in the sky, but the side that can eliminate a target before the enemy even realizes they are being hunted. Today, we will explore the 10 most dangerous military aircraft ever built, from flying tanks forged in titanium that can cut through a storm of bullets to billion-dollar stealth ghosts, machines capable of crippling an entire nation in absolute silence. But the most terrifying aspect is not their power, it is the deadly weaknesses, the secrets that militaries rarely talk about. If you are passionate about military technology and lesser-known facts, make sure to subscribe and stay until the end, because the number one spot may not be the aircraft you expect. Now let us kick things off with a machine that redefines the word tough. At number 10, we have the Soviet-born Sukhoi Su-25, known to NATO as the Frogfoot. Introduced in 1981, this is certainly not a sleek high-altitude fighter. Powered by twin turbojets pushing around 9,000 pounds of thrust each, it does not rely on speed. It is an absolute flying titanium bathtub designed to get down in the mud. Carrying up to 8,800 pounds of rockets, anti-tank missiles, and a brutal 30mm twin-barrel autocannon. Visually, the Frogfoot is utilitarian and aggressively ugly. It features straight wings packed with weapon hardpoints, and a pilot encased in a 24mm thick welded titanium armor tub. It was built for the absolute meat grinder of close air support. In reality, flying low over a battlefield is a chaotic, high-casualty environment. Ground fire is a constant threat. Despite this, the Su-25 was designed to absorb incredible amounts of punishment from anti-aircraft artillery and shoulder-fired missiles, protecting the pilot at all costs, while delivering devastating payloads directly onto enemy tank columns. During the Soviet-Afghan War and in numerous modern conflicts, the Frogfoot proved its legendary resilience. There are highly documented cases of these jets taking direct hits from Stinger missiles, losing an entire engine, having their tail sections completely shredded by shrapnel, and still managing to limp back to base safely. Clearly, a heavily armored flying titanium bathtub is absolutely terrifying on the front lines. But what if the true danger is not what hits you physically, but what completely shuts down your reality from dozens of miles away? Entering at number 9 is the Boeing EA-18G Growler. Debuting in 2009 for the United States Navy, the Growler proves a harsh truth. The deadliest weapon on a modern battlefield is not always a bomb, it is information, based on the proven Super Hornet airframe and powered by 2 General Electric turbofan engines, pushing 22,000 pounds of thrust each. This machine trades kinetic payload for absolute electromagnetic dominance. It does not drop explosives to win. Instead, it uses directed energy to completely blind and paralyze enemy defense networks before a strike. Visually, it looks exactly like a standard strike fighter, until you notice it is bristling with odd pods, blade antennas, and the massive tactical jamming system mounted under its wings. The Growler's primary job is airborne electronic attack. It flies deep into hostile airspace and completely jams enemy surface-to-air missile radars, severing military communications and data links. It effectively creates a massive invisible hole in the enemy's defense grid, allowing the rest of the strike package to walk right in without ever being targeted by anti-aircraft batteries. The most famous anecdote surrounding this electronic beast proves its terrifying potential. During a joint training exercise in 2009 at Andrews Air Force Base, an EA-18G Growler managed to achieve a simulated kill against an F-22 Raptor, the undisputed king of stealth. It did this by jamming the Raptor's advanced sensors and getting a clean missile lock. The Growler dominates the invisible spectrum. But if we shift our focus from electronic warfare to pure terrifying kinetic speed, our next jet effortlessly shatters the thermal barrier. Look at this. At number 8, We find the Mikoyan MiG-31, known as the Foxhound, born in the Soviet Union in 1981. This is strictly not a dogfighter. It is a dedicated high-altitude interceptor built with one single purpose: defending vast airspace by flying insanely fast, powered by two monstrous afterburning turbofans, pushing a combined 68,000 pounds of thrust. The Foxhound can reach a blistering top speed of Mach 283, or roughly 1,900 miles per hour, acting as a high-speed missile truck. Visually, the Foxhound is incredibly long, angular, and heavy. It is built extensively from nickel-steel alloy rather than aluminum. Just to withstand the intense kinetic heating that occurs when flying near Mach 3, it is essentially a massive flying fuel tank wrapped around the legendary Zaslan phased array radar, which was the first of its kind ever mounted in a fighter. Its real-world application was to launch rapidly and hunt down supersonic bombers and intercept American low-flying cruise missiles over the freezing, desolate expanses of the Arctic Circle. Surprisingly, the MiG-31 was the only Soviet jet capable of sustaining the extreme speed necessary to occasionally shadow the famous American SR-71 Blackbird spy plane. While it could never actually catch the SR-71 in a tail chase, the fact that its powerful radar could successfully lock onto the elusive spy plane permanently changed the strategic dynamic of the Cold War. However, speed alone kills, but straight-line velocity means absolutely nothing if you cannot turn. Up next is a machine that manipulates physics to literally dance in the sky. Number 7 brings us the Sukhoi Su-35, designated by NATO as the Flanker E. Introduced into service in 2014, this Russian heavy air superiority fighter is considered the ultimate evolution of the Cold War-era flanker design. It is propelled by twin turbofan engines equipped with three-dimensional thrust vectoring nozzles. This means the engine exhaust can tilt independently in multiple directions, granting the aircraft super maneuverability. It can push past aerodynamic limits to perform maneuvers that would normally cause a catastrophic stall in any standard fighter jet. Visually, it is a massive, elegant, and highly intimidating airframe, featuring a distinct stinger tail and huge air intakes. The Su-35 uses this thrust vectoring to perform aerial gymnastics like the famous Cobra maneuver or the falling leaf, allowing it to point its nose and weapons at an enemy regardless of its actual flight path. But here is the critical unspoken truth we must address. While the flanker is arguably the undisputed king of close-quarters dogfighting, modern air combat very rarely happens at visual range anymore. In fact, military analysts fiercely debate if this extreme maneuverability is still relevant, especially in an era totally dominated by beyond visual range stealth missiles. Being the best acrobat in the sky means little if a radar-guided missile hits you from 50 miles away before you even see the shooter. Nevertheless, while the flanker dances gracefully in these theoretical dogfights, the next massive monster on our list does not dance at all. Instead, it screams so loudly that it actually registers on the sonar equipment of deeply submerged submarines. Welcome to number 6, the Tupolev Tu-95, universally known as the Bear, entering active service back in 1956. This Soviet strategic bomber is a stubborn relic of the early Cold War, and it absolutely refuses to retire. It is powered by 4 massive turboprop engines. Widely recognized as the most powerful propeller engines ever built by mankind, capable of carrying over 33,000 pounds of destructive payload, the Bear was designed to cross oceans and deliver devastating nuclear strikes deep into the heart of American territory. Visually, the Bear is a striking anachronism. It is a massive swept-wing bomber featuring huge contra-rotating propellers, meaning each engine has 8 blades turning in opposite directions. But the most terrifying reality of the Bear is its pure acoustic violence. The tips of those massive propellers move faster than the speed of sound, creating a continuous, deafening sonic boom. It is notoriously so loud that American submarine crews submerged hundreds of feet underwater can clearly hear the aircraft flying miles overhead through their sensitive sonar equipment. History notes a specially modified version of this enormous aircraft famously dropped the Tsar Bomba, the absolute largest and most destructive nuclear weapon ever detonated in human history, despite its extreme age and lack of modern stealth. Its massive payload capacity and intercontinental range keep it highly active today. It operates as a standoff cruise missile carrier, launching weapons from safely outside enemy airspace. The Bear is a relic of deafening brute force. But what happens when you take that massive payload capacity and push it straight past the speed of sound? At number 5, we have the Rockwell B-1B Lancer, affectionately known by its crews as the Bone, entering United States Air Force service in 1986. The Lancer was the American answer to the desperate need for a supersonic low-level penetrating bomber. Powered by 4 massive afterburning turbofans, the B-1B can carry the largest conventional payload of both guided and unguided weapons in the entire Air Force inventory. It can haul a staggering 75,000 pounds of internal munitions, flying at speeds exceeding Mach 1.2. Visually, its defining design feature is its variable sweep wings. For takeoff, landing, and high-altitude fuel-efficient cruising, the massive wings extend straight out. But for supersonic deck-hugging, low-level dashes designed to slip underneath enemy radar networks, the wings sweep completely back into a sleek, aggressive delta shape. While originally designed for high-speed nuclear strikes against the Soviet Union during the Cold War, its real-world application shifted drastically, adapting to modern asymmetric warfare, where heavy payloads of precision-guided smart bombs were suddenly required. During the extended conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan, this massive strategic bomber was surprisingly utilized for close air support. It would loiter for hours high above the battlefield, instantly dropping precision munitions on targets called in by ground troops under heavy fire. The Bone hauls an absolutely unbelievable arsenal across the globe, yet the rival sitting at number 4 took the supersonic heavy bomber concept and made it significantly heavier, noticeably faster and heavily armed, enough to wipe out entire cities in a single high-speed pass. Number 4 brings us to the Tupolev Tu-160, known as the Blackjack to NATO and the White Swan in Russia. First flown in 1981, this is the largest and heaviest Mach 2 supersonic military aircraft ever built. Powered by 4 colossal afterburning turbofans, which are the most powerful ever equipped on any combat aircraft. The Blackjack was explicitly designed to outrun interceptor fighters. Weighing a massive 605,000 pounds fully loaded, it can carry 88,000 pounds of nuclear or conventional cruise missiles. Visually, it shares the swept-wing design of the American B-1B, but it is painted in a striking anti-flash white, designed to reflect the intense thermal radiation generated by nuclear blasts. To truly understand its sheer size, if you park a Tu-160 on an American football field, its wingspan covers the entire width, and its nose-to-tail length stretches well past the 50-yard line. It is a flying leviathan meant to sprint to its launch points at over 1,300 miles per hour. Naturally, state media heavily boasts of blackjacks easily outrunning modern fighters during peacetime patrols. However, comparing a strategic bomber dropping its nose to accelerate in a straight line against tactical fighters not carrying enough fuel for continuous supersonic chase is a highly misleading narrative. Nevertheless, it holds numerous world records for speed and altitude with payload, proving its unstoppable momentum. Massive bombers bring apocalyptic payloads. But in modern warfare, the deadliest aircraft is not the biggest. It is the one claiming to be totally invincible. But is it really? Stepping into the top 3, we hit a massive wall of media controversy. The Sukhoi Su-57, given the NATO reporting name Felon, This is Russia's highly touted, highly marketed 5th-generation stealth multi-role fighter. On paper, it is an absolutely terrifying machine. Powered by advanced thrust vectoring engines and featuring a flattened, stealthy iteration of the classic flanker aerodynamic layout, it is designed to dominate the sky. It reportedly boasts advanced side-facing cheek radars, allowing the pilot to continuously track enemy targets while physically maneuvering away from incoming threats. Visually, the Felon looks like a futuristic sci-fi villain's personal jet, with a wide, blended wing body and aggressive angles. However, we must critically analyze the severe gap between theoretical specifications and harsh combat reality. Russian media has often claimed it utilizes revolutionary plasma stealth technology to hide from radar, yet this remains completely unverified and is largely dismissed by Western defense analysts as pure propaganda. In reality, the Felon's exposed engine faces and manufacturing tolerances mean its actual radar cross-section is likely much larger than advertised. Furthermore, the production of the Su-57 has been severely delayed, resulting in a tiny fleet. Its real-world combat record is largely unproven, as military commanders keep it far away from dense, highly contested air defense zones just to avoid the embarrassment of losing one. The Felon looks absolutely spectacular performing stunts in peacetime air shows. But when it comes to proven, undisputed air superiority in a hostile environment, it must bow in respect to the true king of the stealth skies, sitting quietly at number 2 on our list. At number 2, we drop into the highly classified shadows with the Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor. Entering active service in 2005, the Raptor remains the absolute apex predator of air superiority. Powered by 2 Pratt & Whitney engines with 2-dimensional thrust vectoring, the F-22 possesses super cruise capability. This means it can fly at sustained supersonic speeds of over Mach 1.5 without using fuel-guzzling afterburners. This allows it to quickly cross vast battlefields invisibly, carrying a deadly internal payload of advanced air-to-air missiles. Visually, the Raptor is a flawless masterpiece of stealth geometry. Every edge is perfectly aligned, and its surface is coated in a highly sensitive radar-absorbent material that makes this massive fighter jet look roughly the size of a small marble on enemy radar screens. The brutal reality of the Raptor is that it is explicitly designed to kill the enemy before they even know a fight has started. But this extreme technological perfection comes at a heavy cost, demanding astronomical maintenance hours just to keep its stealth coating functional. Notably, in one famous incident in 2013 over the Persian Gulf, an F-22 intercepted an Iranian Phantom fighter that was actively harassing an American drone. The Raptor flew completely undetected right underneath the hostile jet, checked its weapons loadout, and then pulled up directly next to the startled Iranian pilot, simply telling him over the radio, "You really ought to go home. The Raptor absolutely owns the sky in any engagement." But the ultimate predator on our list does not fight jets. It quietly ends entire wars. Finally, at number 1, we reach the absolute pinnacle of extreme aerospace engineering, the Northrop Grumman B-2 Spirit. First taking flight in 1989, this stealth strategic bomber represents a fundamental, terrifying shift in how global wars are fought. Powered by 4 internal turbofan engines buried deep inside the airframe to hide their heat signature, the B-2 relies entirely on its extreme invisibility. It can carry 40,000 pounds of conventional or nuclear ordnance, penetrating the most heavily defended airspace on Earth without triggering a single alarm. Visually, it is a pure flying wing. There is no fuselage, no vertical tail, just a smooth, continuous alien surface, coated in highly classified radar-absorbent material. It looks exactly like a massive, dark boomerang that defies all conventional aerodynamics. The engineering here is so precise, and the computer flight controls so advanced, that its massive radar cross-section is reportedly reduced to the size of a large insect. It is an aircraft designed to dismantle an entire nation's defense grid before the enemy command center even knows they are under attack. The true danger of the B-2 lies in its grueling real-world application, operating primarily from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. These pilots fly exhausting 40-hour continuous round-trip combat missions. They refuel in midair multiple times to drop massive payloads anywhere on the globe and return home undetected at a staggering cost of over $2 billion per individual aircraft. It is the most expensive airplane ever built, representing the ultimate unspoken threat of pure American military power projection across the entire planet. These 10 machines represent the peak of manned aerospace engineering, pushing the physical limits of metallurgy and national budgets to solve extreme problems. But the skies are changing rapidly. We are shifting from human pilots to autonomous algorithms. So, which of these analog beasts do you find the strangest? Which one would you want to see flying in person? Did I miss the true future of air combat? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe and hit the bell, because next week we are uncovering the most disastrous military vehicles ever built.